About half an hour ago, the UK economy grew only by 0.1% between July and September. So 2 weeks out of a budget that's going to screw us all. Yet more bad news for Rachel Reeves. Now, the last time I talked to our next guest, economist and journalist Liam Halligan, his chair was empty because he was in the kitchen getting a glass of orange juice. 3, 2, 1. Morning, Liam. Oh, he's there. He's there. I mean, it's fantastic. Oh, you've got your drink ready. You're primed and ready to go. Morning, kiddo.
Nice to see you.
You're the expert. I'm not. This government came to power talking about growth, then sort of instigated NI rises against small businesses and workers' rules that made it almost impossible to run a business. This growth of 0.1% is ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, it just sums up the failure of their policies.
It's certainly pretty sluggish. That's 0.1% expansion of our economy from between July and September compared to the same period in 2024. That's sharply down from 0.3% growth during the previous quarter. It's not good news for Rachel Reeves or any of us ahead of the budget. And it comes on top, Jeremy, of news earlier this week that unemployment hit 5%, not back at early 80s, 10, 11% levels, but certainly a lot higher than 4.2% unemployment, again, when Labour came in July 2024. So ahead of the budget on Wednesday, the 26th of November, not long now, we've got rising unemployment, a slowing economy. It's not good with the best will in the world.
Just in terms of layman's terms, can you say layman or laypersons? In financial terms, what does that 0.1% mean to people listening to this in their cars on their way to work who see their tax bills going up, their energy bills going up, their food bills going up, right? What does it mean?
What it means, well, people can feel it. People can feel that, you know, there's not much spring in the step of consumers. People can feel, whether they're business owners or employees, that there's a kind of reticence, a reluctance to invest. People can feel that when people leave their workforce, they're maybe not being replaced because their firms are waiting to see. And they're worried, as you say, about that increase in employer national insurance that we've seen. They're worried, firms, employers, about incoming legislation, the so-called Employment Rights Bill, which is a kind of back to the 70s, you know, trade union driven piece of legislation that gives workers all kinds of entitlements from day one of employment, including the right to sue for unfair dismissal from day one of employment. All this is scaring employers. That's why hiring has fallen off a cliff, Jeremy. That's why unemployment is at a 4-year high now. Look, 0.1% GDP growth in the last quarter, it could easily be revised. This is a first print, as we say. These numbers are subject to revision. But going into the budget, if the economy was buoyant, if quarterly growth was, you know, showing signs of normality, which it isn't, then Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, could feel there's a bit more money knocking about, there's a bit more tax revenue knocking about. I can do some giveaways. I don't have to hammer the population again with tax. But because growth is sluggish, it makes the public finances much tighter. There's less tax revenue knocking about. She's got to spend more on benefits, not least for unemployment, which is going up. And I'm afraid it makes tax rises more likely. When you're not prepared to rein in spending, which Labour isn't for all kinds of ideological reasons, then the only way you can respond to a hole in the public finances is by whacking taxes up even more. But the problem is, Jeremy, that just slows growth even more, and then you get lower tax revenues even though tax rates have gone up. That is the spiral we're in, that so-called doom loop, where you respond to a weak budget by taxing even more, which makes the budget even weaker.
Would it be fair to say, to sum up, that Rachel Reeves and Starmer's policies have crushed growth and activity, the raising of national insurance, that hike for employers, everything that we hear about? As I say, to start, I said to you, they talked about growth. The Labour Party's policies have created the exact opposite, haven't they, Liam?
I think we're certainly in a situation where, having had the steepest tax raising budget since 1993 last October, we're about to get another really quite punitive budget, similar levels of taxation increase, maybe not on employer national insurance this time, probably on property, probably even an increase of 1 or even 2% in the basic rate of income tax. That would be, Jeremy, hang on to your hat, the first income tax rise since the mid 1970s. So look, I think the population can feel that the economy isn't in a great place. It certainly wasn't in a great place, to be fair, when Labour came in last July. You know, you already had taxes very high. You already had a pretty weak budget situation. You already had relatively sluggish growth, but not too bad. In fact, quite good compared to other countries these days. But since then, certainly having inherited a tricky situation, I think even any objective economist would say these tax rises that Labour have brought in, largely for ideological reasons, bunging loads of money to the public sector workers and the trade union paymasters of Labour almost as soon as they came in, increasing employer taxation, increasing the minimum wage. All of this has slowed the economy even more. I'd say that's a pretty objective point of view.
Couldn't agree more, Liam. It's great to have you, and it's great for you to be in the seat. We love having you on the show. Thank you very much,
Some orange juice.
Good man, Liam Halligan, economist and journalist. You're waking up